Past Big Clinky here, and welcome to part 2. Last time we saved Brady and Ya'an, and this time we need to save the ones who went to delay the enemy, Inigo and Owain. And at the moment they're not really in too much danger, but they will be soon, and for that I really want to make sure that Lissa goes as far forward as possible. Because there's a bit that's coming up on around turn 8. And that's the reason why I believe that this chapter is actually, literally impossible without flyers. At least saving everyone is not possible. So, that'll be coming soon. I just realized here that because Gaius only has one shot left of his, bow, Pan needs to dual strike to kill that Dark Flyer. I'll just focus on the one that I can take out in one go. Feel kind of bad that Rickon didn't get to do much in this chapter, because I did specifically grind him in Great Knight for this, so his defense is very, very high, and he has Luna as well. Of course, another problem of having to reclass Lissa to Darkflyer here is that means we lose access to one healer. Once again, Pointless Soul. And thank you, Pan.
Thanks.
I really needed that. If not, we'd have another Dark Flyer flying around our side. Or we could just... Oh yeah, that's right, because... So at this point, I've realized that I think I need to dance for Lissa, and although what I'm worried about is those Wyvern Lords... They have Lances and Swordbreaker, so they could potentially do horrendous damage to Olivia. She might be able to survive one hit, but if they both hit her, then it's basically gone. And, what turn is it? I'm wondering if the really, really bad reinforcements show up this turn. Equipping Salif's Blade for slightly better stats. And dancing here so that Lissa can fly over the gap, because she needs to be heading up there very quickly. Now that the pursuers are dealt with, it's time for these father-son teams to head on over here, because soon we'll have a big battle in the middle area. They dealt with all the pursuers at basically exactly the right time. And I also need to make sure that, yeah, Lissa's not in range of an archer. Though if I'm feeling very lucky, I could put her in range of one archer, because she will survive one hit, but she does need to dodge everything that comes at her after that. Alternatively, I could just use Crop there, but I actually can't, because I need to have Lissa in the lead, because she has to fly over this cliff before the next turn. Also, Book of Naga overkill just because lol. Oh, wow. That may have set a new damage record for this particular playthrough. Yeah, I completely underestimated. Okay, and yeah, so what happens this turn is Merisu Jr. basically completely loses it and goes, ah! Kill them! Kill them all! Send everything! Send everything! And, well, goes completely insane. So, she's sending every single reinforcement at us. Oh, man, activating Aegis on both hits? Really? That is incredibly annoying. So I did take a bit of a risk here, but I have faith in Lissa. Please don't Aegis this. And he didn't. Also find it kind of funny how Lissa's critical quote comes after her. Rah! So it sounds really, really weird. Okay, so yeah, this is where I was worried and she got hit. Like that weird critical line. So, Lissa now has to turn into, Sed and dodge everything this turn. Thankfully, since she's paired up with Crom, she can pull elixirs out of the convoy anytime she wants, so next turn I can basically heal her. Also, you are pathetic. I definitely should have equipped a weapon on Crom other than the miniature lance, though. I only use that for testing purposes, and now he's forced to equip it. And hello there.
Don't worry, I'm here.
Do you like Force Eddy? I know I do! It's funny, I describe the animation in this game as a literal wind tunnel. It doesn't really look like wind exploding everywhere like it did in Fire Emblem 4. And yeah, some of the enemies are even ignoring Lissa. Yeah, the Flyers like to head south as fast as possible, even though Brady and Yarn are gone. It would actually be somewhat of an interesting objective if you actually had to prevent them from leaving the map so they go after Brady and Yarn. But that would make this even more insane, and I really don't like that. So here is the point where I need to make sure that Lissa is all the way up here, because if I don't have a flyer in this area, another set of everything reinforcements are going to spawn. And if that happens, the Dark Flyers in this next set head straight for Inigo and Owain. And if they reach them, they one-round them. So you need to make sure that you force them to suicide into you before they can reach Inigo and Owain, otherwise Inigo and Owain are going to die. Now I'm going to go there and hopefully take some enemy, do some damage to some enemies. Got to be a little careful of Olivia here. And Brady actually needs a bit of healing. Yeah, so here's the question, whether I do that or whether I need to be careful of Olivia. I never actually had any enemy attack Olivia in this chapter. There's a weird thing with these reinforcements. I almost think that they're programmed to attack Brady or Yarn, but I can't tell the difference between... Okay, this might be a new damage record. That definitely brought the pain. Brought the pain, whatever. But yeah, that was pain. Lots and lots of pain. Lots of pain. So like I was saying, I think these flyers are actually programmed to attack Brady and Yarn, but they can't tell the difference between NPC Brady and Yarn and your Brady and Yarn, so they pretty much always attack any Brady or Yarn in their range. That's the only explanation I can give for why these guys attacked Yarn that other turn when they could have gone after Brady. Yeah, that didn't make very much sense, but I'm glad they did do that, because otherwise I would have had to have restarted this chapter again. The main reason I basically caved and decided to do this post-commentary was because, judging by just the sheer number of conversations and all that stuff, basically, recording these chapters takes over an hour, and having to do that all again just gets really, really annoying. It's just incredibly frustrating. And again, not only are they sending everything at us, but Mary Sue Jr. had a hidden wave of a contingent of generals and archers. Speaking of archers, these ones are now moving to attack Inigo and Owain. I want to hope that one of these is left alive. That way I can intentionally keep him alive until I'm ready to end this chapter on my own terms. Now, here's something about Inigo that really helps him in this situation, especially with all these incoming snipers. Inigo has Bowbreaker. I was a complete derb and forgot that in my previous attempt at this, and decided to say, oh hey, Gregor's had some attention, so let's use him in the lead and equip these short axe. That way he'll be able to counterattack everything, right? And he has soul, so he'll survive, right? Well, that worked for the most part, but the enemies got a little too much, and eventually he failed to activate soul a couple of times. And, well, Yarn has sharp, pointy Astra. Failed to activate soul a few times, and kind of died. And I just completely lost my patience with the chapter after that. Hello, camera, what are you doing? And another thing to the list of stuff that Yarn needs to be paranoid of, the camera shoving itself into his head.
You and I can take him. Stay back.
No, it would have been funny if that was another critical. But yeah, at least I'm getting to use Force Eddy a lot in this chapter. I love that tone. One of my favourite things about Fire Emblem 4, just putting a character with Force Eddy on a forest and just watching everything just... like, nothing hits them at all. Like, nothing can ever hit them.
My turn. Hey, thanks.
So yeah, the thing about Gregor that I did, I was a bit of a derp because I didn't realise that Inigo had Bowbreaker and thus was much better equipped to deal with the archers. Also, this right here, making these Dark Flyers attack Lissa, this is going to save her son's life. Because if they didn't go after Lissa immediately, like, yeah, the fact that they both just suicided, that is the sole reason why I made Lissa a Dark Flyer. I needed her to do this. I also needed that dual guard. Because if she didn't do this, they would go directly at Inigo and Owain, and there would be no way I could save them. So, this is why I had to use Lissa here. And this is why I felt that this chapter was not doable without a flyer. At least you get to see the true power of the Dark Flyer class. I get the feeling she's gonna get hit by this. Yeah, remember how I said that not every enemy, that some enemies here still have vengeance? Yeah, these Wyvern Lords do, and they are kind of annoying with it. Well, at least one good thing came about accidentally equipping Crom with that weapon. He now has a B rank in Lancers, so I can use Silver Lancers with him. It's often very useful to get... probably at Lancebreaker. It's often very useful to get Crom up in terms of Lance rank, as well as Lucina. Especially if they can use Brave Lancers. That is generally very, very useful. Well, she got hit by one thing at least. I still wish Lucina used Lances in Smash Brothers. Or as in, like, had a special move where she used the Lance. So much wasted potential there. They could have easily made Aether a side B for her, but no. Not only that, but then Lucina's attained an enormous amount of hate from Smash Brothers fans just for being a lame clone when, yeah, it's just a bit unfair, the fact that her whole character gets hated just because they completely misrepresented her. Like, of all the people, I mean, I know that she impersonates Marth, but I mean, Dark Pit is literally a clone of Pit, so it makes sense for him to be a clone. Dr. Mario is Mario, so it makes sense for him to be a clone. But, also you might notice that Merisu Jr. is coming after us directly. And this is what gets annoying with these archers. If they go here, then these NPCs can actually kill them, and I don't want that, because I want to leave at least one of them alive. But yes, now Merisu Jr. herself has come for us. We might want to take her out soon, otherwise she'll be heading towards Inigo and Owain. Yeah, she has realized that if you want a job done right, you'll have to do it yourself, and she's going to try and kill them directly. Not only that, but when she's done, she's hoping to move on to their daughters. Yes, I know Inigo and Owain have children in spoilers, and I know the genders of the children, and I know their names. I don't know... Well, I know not Inigo's daughter's character entirely because of the massive controversy surrounding her. It's impossible not to know. As for Owain's, I only know her name. I know nothing else about her at all, so please don't spoil me on anything. I just thought it would be cool to add some Fates teasers to this chapter, because we're focusing on Inigo and Owain here. Speaking of which, yeah, standing on a woods with the Balmung, it really is the second coming of Shannon. Unfortunately, the fact is that even though these hit rates are low, if he gets hit by pretty much two of them, he'll die. And I don't really want to take that risk. With Bowbreaker, Inigo is much, much better at handling this wave of enemies. As you can see, I also equipped a bow on him so that the generals don't have weapon triangle advantage. So that way he's even less likely to take damage. Yeah, I blamed losing Gregor in my last attempt of this chapter on bad luck, but really it was my own fault. If I had realized that Inigo had Bowbreaker like I am here, it would have been much better for me. So, see, sometimes things aren't just a product of bad luck. Sometimes Sometimes you just need to strategize better. Just going to heal up for good measure. And at this point, I actually want Olivia to start running, because she's going to need to get to Inigo all the way up the top of the map soon. And yeah, as you can tell, that's going to be annoying. Might have to have Lisa ferry her across. I kept tossing up doing this, but those hit rates, I'm just a little worried that if he gets hit twice, he'll die. So maybe it might be a better idea to just have him hand back and have Inigo tank everything, because Inigo's generally also, yeah, Inigo's max skill and speed. Again, either his speed cap is very, very low with Gregor as his father, or the Bone Knight class has a disappointingly low speed cap. Seems a little weird, because Bone Knight does definitely seem to emphasize speed, so, I mean, it is a very fragile class, but so, not entirely sure why the class would have a fairly low cap there. But, now it is time. Even though I could send Lisa down there, I think it's time that we took out Mary Sue Jr. once and for all. Not with that. With that. Yeah, she doesn't have Swordbreaker, and being a Wyvern, she happens to be weak to the Falchion. So that's her main Achilles heel. No, Mary Sue Jr., it is you who shall fall by our hand!
Now or never.
Anything can change.
No.
But these won't save you now! Mary Sue Jr. has failed. And hopefully, her mother won't get a chance to teach her some new tactics, because we're going to be coming for her next. I wanted to leave that music playing for as long as possible. I love that song so much. Probably my favorite boss theme in this whole game. And that is saying something. Actually, one of my favorite boss themes in the entire series. Ah, that was unlucky. One of them hit him. I kind of hoped that at least a few of the generals would use spears so that he could actually counter them. But yeah, here, these guys only have a 19% chance of hitting Inigo due to Bowbreaker. That is much, much better than with Gregor when they all had over 70%, so in fact up to like 90%. But once we deal with this contingent of enemies, the chapter is pretty much over now that Mary Sue Jr. is gone. Like Future Past 1, the last of the reinforcements were on turn 8.
You work fat?
So, that means that things are going to get a lot easier soon, once these snipers are mostly gone. Not entirely sure why I was just fast-forwarding through everything here. I kind of just wanted this chapter to be done. I need another Jewel Strike there, Gregor. Nope. Yeah, well, thankfully, this is our Yarn, who's much stronger. And yeah, I'm not even pairing him up. He's doing all this with no pair-ups. He's that good. I know I'm biased, but Yarn does generally end up as one of the strongest children characters in the game. No, no, definitely don't mess with a bunny. Only needed 2 hits of Astra there. And he's continuing to level up. I think he's actually nearly maxed everything at this point. And I believe that is, in fact, max skill and speed. And yeah, another one of these guys. Something I also noticed is these woods extend actually quite far. Some of the tiles that don't seem to have woods on them actually do. Might want to try and take out maybe that last archer. This chapter is basically almost done. These generals are the only threats left, and after that, all we need to do is just get to the conversations. Of course, I need to be a little careful that I don't screw this up right at the end. And, well, one last force head use for good measure. Brady definitely did really well in this chapter. And yes, Olivia's going to have to be moving because we're going to need to get her up to her child for a conversation soon. And let's go for Balmung Woods for super defense. And unfortunately, I need to switch over to Lissa if I want to fly back. And what's the point of hoarding these elixirs? I have a lot of them, and it's the end of the game anyway. Okay, that is perfect. Lethality definitely helps against really defensive enemies with Pavese, Aegis, and maxed HP. Okay, yeah, this is why I worried about Lon'qu earlier. Okay, that's not going to do much. And that's really not going to do much. In fact, that may actually do slightly less than you would normally. Yeah, because you can Pavese every individual hit of that. That's kind of why I wanted lethality. And more of these stupid generals who are just going to attack us. But Inigo's not going to be equipping a bow anymore. In fact, I think I can actually send Lissa all the way down there and try and take out one of them. Or I could use Crom and his Noble Rapier. Kind of funny how this is like, after 13 games, this is the first game in the series that actually had an upgraded Rapier. Oh, and Inigo's max his HP too, that's cool. Okay, yeah, I think I want to kill the one with the highest HP first.
Are you ready?
I think I did use a Seraph Robe on Lissa earlier on, that's why her HP's so high. Of course, she has been through another 10 levels of Sage on top of all these levels of Darkflyer. I kind of had to do that just because you can't reclass to promoted classes without going to level 10. So, yeah, she's a little ludicrously overpowered, but I'm trying to avoid using her unless I really need to. I could go for another lethality. Huh. I don't want to blow this now. There are only 3 enemies remaining. Oh yeah, also, you might have noticed this, but for some reason Physic and Fortify staves actually have a range of the full map automatically in this chapter. That's most likely so that you can heal Inigo and Owain up the top of the map here, no matter where you are. Of course, the rescue staff is still banned in this map, at least I'm pretty sure it is. I've never actually tried it, but I think it is. Thank you, lethality. Lethality crit as well. Now, it seems here like Lon'qu has a higher skill cap than his son, but actually, well, Lissa did have a negative skill modifier, so it might be due to that, but also, the Assassin class has a higher skill cap than Swordmaster. In some regards, it almost feels pointless to go Swordmaster in this game, really, because Assassin in this game is actually probably one of the best times the class has ever been. And that's Aegis. Still died, though. It can use bows as well as swords. The only real advantage of Swordmaster seems to be slightly better defense and resistance. But anyway, we've now been reduced to just 1 archer, and as long as he keeps attacking from there, we're basically done here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Lissa separate from Crom and ferry Olivia across, and everyone else is going to slowly make their way up towards the parents. So I think I'll actually just cut ahead to when we get there, because there's really nothing going on. Turns out I only needed to cut around 1 minute, but there we go. We've got Inigo's conversation with himself. Yeah, the situation was truly dire. Fortunately, it's been averted. Yeah, in Inigo's own future, this didn't happen. Probably because Mary Sue Jr. wasn't around to chase them. Look at your stats. I think you're the stronger one here. Of course, that Inigo has been through an entire another world.
I have your back.
Yes, Inigo, you must protect yourself. And now it's time for Olivia. Making sure to unequip our weapons so we don't accidentally kill the archer. And it's other Inigo this time, not our one.
No.
This one's actually quite a long conversation. No, it's Mary Sue's fault. Blame her.
Oh.
Especially not.
Sorry.
Inigo hasn't seen his mother for a long, long time. In fact, he thought he'd never see his mother again in a few cases. No, Olivia's been trained and she'll be able to fight by your side now. And this is interesting. I think this is mentioned a few times in Inigo's supports as well.
Count me in.
Yes, he's gotten a lot stronger. He's even traveled through a few alternate worlds.
What?
No, no harm will befall anyone anymore, because, yeah, well, we're basically completely safe here. Yeah, you want to be careful that you don't lure that archer into a spot that's right in front of Owain or Inigo, because then, if that happens, then the archer will die. You're going to need to take one more turn just to fully get all the conversations here. So, let's go for the unique one, father and child. Again, unequipping weapons.
Oh, yes.
Very special, Gregor. I love that line. I should mention that I actually really do like the conversation between Inigo and Henry, if Henry's his father here. Although this is actually pretty cool.
Huh?
Yeah, this shows that if Gregor's his father, then the actual reason why Inigo is of the mercenary class is actually to follow in his footsteps. Yeah, like, so that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, the one about Henry's one is just that it's unchanged from the Japanese version. In fact, the references to Henry and Olivia's Japanese supports are actually kept intact, including the references to things that got cut out. So, in the English version, it feels like a gigantic plot hole. Also, this dialogue. Inigo, you've been spending too much time around Owain, I think. Yeah, you're starting to sound like him. And this conversation. This one's actually pretty good. Though, be prepared for a bit of tear-jerking.
Hey.
Yes, we'll come for another time, and I believe we've succeeded. We've succeeded in stopping them from being killed by Mary Sue Jr. Yeah, this shows that Owain does drop the act when he gets really serious, and this time it's really serious. I like how caring Alyssa is here too.
Yeah.
See, he can't even keep the act up. It's just really sad. Yeah, he's definitely earned it, especially in my version of events that he's been through another world as well.
It's all right.
Well, we're already done with them, so there's only one more to make cry. One more turn, then we'll be able to get everything. Provided that we do the right transfer. Let's give Owain over to Lissa so that I can get both conversations next turn. Okay, yeah, thank you for doing that. I intentionally blocked off the spots above the NPCs so that the archer wouldn't die this turn.
What? Right.
In fact, you'll remember exactly how his father died if you saw Owain's supports. This line's also interesting if Lon'qu's his father. Yeah, Lon'qu did do that once, and Lon'qu also died saving Owain. No, you mustn't. Especially after all those people, those friends you made in the other world, and even think of your daughter. And yeah, Lon'qu almost regrets sacrificing himself now. Lon'qu knows all about that because his friend sacrificed herself to save him from bandits, and that resulted in his fear of women. So he knows how traumatizing it is to have someone you know sacrifice themselves for you. So this time he's going to ensure that doesn't happen. Yes, this time they fight together. And one more, Owain and himself.
My sword hand.
Of course, this Owain is still up to his theatrics. Dual Owain Blast would be the best thing ever. Yeah, that might be a bad idea. Yeah, that was close. Yes, Alter Owain must do this himself. Of course, with that done, we've got most of the conversations we can. So let's give Gregor one final shot at glory and end this chapter. Finally! I am glad to be done with this one. It's over. We don't actually get any heroes for this. So finally we get monologues for all of the children who survived. Again, these only happen if you had at least one parent talk to them during this chapter. The first time I did this, I missed Brady and Yarn's monologues, so yeah, I had to redo this. And yes, your father and mother do want you to keep going. keep going and ensure Mary Sue's final defeat. Yes, we actually did. I can't really believe it either. Yeah, if Lissa hadn't pulled that stunt, you definitely would be dead. Don't worry, things will be better once we defeat Mary Sue and restore Canon to normal. Yep, from now on you'll live for them. And for her. Well, they were, but from the past. I really like these lines.
Wait, I won?
Trust me, Yarn, I'm thinking exactly the same thing. Oh, this chapter gave me way too much trouble. So much more than I thought it would. Shadows of themselves, this isn't the wellspring of truth. And character development, though really the Yarn I have is more than capable of looking after everyone else because he is one of the strongest characters I have. And with Yarn's super hearing, he can tell the other two are alive. I'll just cut off here because I'll let live commentary me take over now. But yes, thanks to our efforts, Mary Sue Jr. has been defeated and all the children are saved. Yes, they're real. We did it. They're all alive.
No hard feelings?
Yeah, they're gonna get quite a drumming for almost sacrificing themselves.
Hoy there!
And, well, we're gone. We can't stay in this world for very long, but at least we've changed one thing of Mary Sue's future. The shadowy saviors. That has a nice ring to it.
You want some?
Yeah, you always want to be careful around Brady. Do you have any idea how easy it is to make him cry? Now, if you've got Owain and Inigo's supports, you'll know that Inigo knows about the Manual of Justice. So this is a nice callback to that.
Well...
But it's goes both ways.
What?
Everyone has embarrassing secrets, I guess. I'm guessing Yarn's morning anti-extinction exercises consist of him just destroying everything in a 100-mile radius. Because he's that amazing. But at least they're actually laughing. Yeah, after the future is saved.
Quite.
Yes, trolling each other. That's a good goal to shoot for. But yeah, they're almost at the border. 2 gemstones are safe. Time to run some more. Yeah, both old friends and new friends, and maybe even a loved one and a child. And now that Owain survived this, maybe one day he can go back to see them again. He had to return here to defeat Mary Sue after all. In other words, we may never meet again, but we will never forget each other. And mission accomplished. Mission number 2 accomplished. We saved them. The children have been saved from a terrible fate at the hands of Mary Sue Jr., who has now been defeated. I like to think she suffered a Disney villain death off the side of the cliff.
Good.
So that's 4 out of 5 gemstones. But 1 more and the Fire Emblem still remains. Not only that, but the princess and 3 of her closest friends are still fighting.
Yes.
And very soon, Mary Sue seeks to kill them all herself. Naga needs to call us once again for one final battle. Meanwhile...
Huh?
Mary Sue used her perfect powers to dodge the blow. Unfortunately, it's too late. Tiki took a fatal blow for Lucina, and now I don't think she has much time left. Mary Sue will pay for this. Resources are scarce in times like this, but you'd think Tiki of all people deserves them.
What?
Marth, all of the parents from the first generation. This is the first time that she's had to... I mean, this is a tough scene for me, really, because Tiki's been with this series for so long. She's been through 2 whole games in her younger version, and she couldn't die there. She just went back to sleep, but now, thanks to Mary Sue,
No.
she's not going to see this world have its final peace.
No.
It's the children who are going to be the real hope of this world. Sadly, not heroes of the past. No, we saved them all. Don't worry, Lucina. They're all safe. They're almost here with the gemstones. Just hold out a little longer. Of course, the Hero King knew Mary Sue personally, but he probably wouldn't have known that she'd one day do this.
Why?
Tiki is dead. Mary Sue will pay. Next time, it's the final battle. We will defeat Mary Sue once and for all, and save this world. Okay, I just restarted this chapter after finishing it already, and, talk about your mood whiplash music. Yeah, that kind of happens with DLC sometimes. If you go back into it again immediately after you complete it, before, it plays the music that you've got set for skirmishes, so, oh, wow. It's almost as funny as going through the Mechonis Core episode in Xenoblade Chronicles and then hearing Colony 6 Hope start playing. Yeah. Anyway. Let's put this on. We're in the future of despair, and we're playing unfitting music. Okay, I'll stop now. Okay, now the real reason why I came back here is to do Maribel and Brady's conversation. You didn't think I was going to forget that, did you?
Darling.
If only this chapter had 1 more deployment slot.
What?
Well,
Okay. Huh.
No.
Wow, Maribel's really sure of herself at this point.
Clearly.
Can it?
What?
Well, that's interesting. But yeah, that conversation started out not so good, but it ended up pretty good. Anyway, one more thing that I want to show in this chapter. I guess there's one more conversation I need to show then, and that would be Pan and Yarn. After this, I am finally done with this chapter. Ugh. No, you're not. But again, that does beg the question. A lot of Entombed have the, yeah, even rhythm skill. That has disturbing implications. Now, the red eyes aren't glowing, so she's obviously not arisen.
Listen.
And this revelation comes a bit later than a lot of the other conversations.
What?
Well,
Yes, Naga can only send us here for a brief time.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, and that means that technically there are lots of Targwell out there. Huh. That's actually one of my favorites here, so I'm glad I got a chance to show that one. Okay, a few random observations that I've made. These two archers here have started moving towards Owain and Inigo, before the 7th or 8th turn, so I'm guessing if you cross this bridge, these archers start moving towards them. Not only that, but it looks like, yeah, female Morgan here won't actually move even if you're in her range until the 8th turn. So that's interesting. But yeah, here's what I wanted to show. Just like male Morgan gets a conversation with female Avatar in this DLC, female Morgan gets a conversation with male Avatar. It's essentially the same thing, but I'm just showing it for completeness sake.
Huh?
No. What? No.
Well... Whoa.
Well.
Oh. Oh. Yeah. No.
Huh?
and they retreat without you having to fight them. And, yeah, that conversation, apart from changing she to he and mother to father, is pretty much exactly the same as the one from the previous chapter. And because of that, I don't feel the need to show the version of female Avatar talking to female Morgan, because it is literally identical to what male Morgan says with a male Avatar. So, yeah, just wanted to show that as a proof of concept that it's whatever Morgan that's native to your game that you get the extended conversation with. The Morgan that you don't have on your file, you just get a very, very brief conversation. But still the same, it is recommended that you get them off the map this way, because that way you don't have to fight them. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show here, so next time it'll be the final battle. See you then. Okay, I'm used to Yarn 1-rounding these guys. That might actually be bad. Wait, what? Oh my god, did you seriously have rally movement? Really?! Oh, come on! Screw this chapter so hard! Now it's all about surviving, because the reinforcements are all gone, so we don't need to really worry about anything else. And again, Soul should help here. Thank you for Soul. That's 10 health recovered. I actually kind of don't want to have Inigo Dual Strike too much, because more Dual Strikes means less opportunities for Gregor to Soul things. Which I kind of need now. And I would also kind of need more Dual Guards. So he generally heals about 10 damage that the enemies do to him. And the generals are no threat because of their lances against his axes. So it's really just the snipers that I'm concerned with. And I would like more Dual Guards, please. Or a Soul Crit. But that was a double heal, and a double Dual Strike. That basically recovered all the health Gregor lost. 3 snipers left. Yep, it looks like it's being Stacks on Gregor Day at the moment. Hey, kind of reminds me of Holland back in Fire Emblem 4, who would... For some reason, Holland would always just... Enemies would always target him. I would have preferred a Soul Crit. Just, again, the enemies would just always pile on Holland for some strange reason that I just don't quite know. As long as you keep staying there, Archer. Okay, so you have a bit more of a hit rate than I expected. And no souls. Normally I'd say that you're free soul healing, but I didn't get any souls off there. But yeah, Gregor's stats are... I think he got a little bit RNG screwed when I was actually using him in the main playthrough. I think his stats are more accurately reflecting at this point, like, how they're supposed to look. Good skill and strength, basically. Like, he's more of a strength and defense-based hero than a... And yes, this much evasion against Lancers. Wow, Lon'qu really is the true successor to Shannon. This is not going to do much, though. Especially with Pavines. Critical 3 damage. Yeah, Astra's not exactly the best against these generals. Ow, that hurt a lot. Please get a soul. Gregor, what are you doing? Why are you not getting soul? Almost felt like the enemy would somehow... Oh, freaking crap. Please, Dual Guard. Thank you. Now please stop. Really, what are you doing? What are you doing? Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, right, he's getting such a high crit rate because of Wrath. Yeah, I got that from Berserker, and that's going to be a... Well, would have appreciated that Wrath soul crit a little earlier so that you'd heal more.
I have your back.
Are you serious? Okay, I really need a soul crit here.
No want to get along, eh?
Oh, I'm worried. Oh, I'm worried. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh!